we are having a workshop next up. It's going to take a bit of our time though, right? About 30, 35 minutes. But I would like for us to also pay attention on that. If you came with your laptop, this would be a good time to turn it on and practice while the session is going on. So I am going to call on our facilitator for the session, in the person of Adeyinka, and she's going to be walking us through the Chaos Augur software, right? So please, open source friends. Clap for her, please.
Hello, everyone. Okay, this is gonna be. I'm gonna use it. Hi, everyone. I hope we are not tired because we are going to the technical session for the day. My name is Adeyinka Oresanya, like she said. Actually, the facilitators of this particular session, they are going to be online. It's pre-recorded. But what I will be doing is I'll be on ground here to assist you while you are setting up Augur. So what is Augur? We've been talking about chaos and chaos contribution since morning, right? Okay, so before I even go on at all, I have a gift for someone who is able to answer my question. So we've been saying chaos, 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 chaos. What is the full meaning of chaos? Who can answer? Fastest finger. I see you first. So please, very quickly, yes. Okay, can you hear him? Okay, let me come down.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Osinachi. Chaos means community health analytics in open source software.
A round of applause for him. And then you've won this gift from us. Thank you. Okay, so like he said, chaos is community health analytics in open source software. And what we do is we focus on creating metrics, metric models, and software that help track projects, open source project or communities' health at a global scale. So one of the softwares that we use to do this is what we call Augur, A-U-G-U-R. So what is Augur? Augur is, like I said, a software that is used to track the health of open source projects or communities. And what does it do, or how does it do it? How it does is that it pulls data from repositories like GitHub, GitLab, you know, for example, commit, pull request, and all that data, and then helps you analyze it so that you can then monitor the health of your project. So you want to know, you know, it helps you answer questions like, are contributors coming in or are they leaving? How healthy is my project? Like, it helps you know if your contributors are burning out. Are we having, how many times for how long are we leaving commits unanswered? Or how long are we leaving pull requests unresolved or unmatched, if you get what I mean? And so why is that important for you as a project maintainer or a community manager of a project? Number one, if you are a project maintainer, it helps you to track and to monitor contributor burnout so that you can then adjust accordingly to say, oh, okay, it looks as if there are a lot of issues that contributors are working on that is making them tired. Probably we need more contributors. We need to increase awareness, find more contributors, and help our projects to remain healthy. Another way that you can also, as a community manager, is to increase engagement and retention in your project. You don't want contributors leaving your project. As a company, you want to look at the open source project that your company or your work is relying on. I was discussing with someone this morning that the reason why sometimes you don't want to use Node.js for your project is because Node.js has a tendency to rely on a lot of packages. And before you know it, you just receive a notification or an email that something has broken in your application because probably the package you are relying on is not longer being maintained or something. So if you are a company, you can't afford your app to break, right? You will lose customers and then you lose money. So it helps you track your libraries and other software you're using to know if they are stable and then they are reliable. And then finally, it helps if you are an organization that looks for sponsors and people that give grants, you are able to use data to back up your argument of how healthy you are. So with that knowledge, I would like us to look to the screen for introduction to the technical aspect, because we would love you to not just use the project, the software I mean, but also become a contributor. So please look to the screen. Thank you.
It is to get Augur up and running these days with a lot of the advancements that have been made to allow Augur to be run using Docker or Podman. Brief introduction. My name is Cali Dolfi. I'm a data scientist at Red Hat's open source program office. I help run Project Aspen, that includes 8-Knot, and I like to lovingly refer myself as the Augur super user. And I'll pass it over to Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm one of the maintainers for Augur, and I've been with Chaos for a long time, like Callie. All the other things, you can see I'm a professor, and that's all you need to know. So the initial steps for getting Augur going are, of course, like any open source project, the first thing you need to do is to clone it. And the second thing you need to do is to tell it the environment that you want. The first things, the Augur user, password, database, those are all things that you can define for yourself. Your GitHub API key and username, as well as your GitLab API key and username, are obtainable through each of those platforms, and you can get them just by logging into the platform. We have some instructions in the Augur documentation for that. Once you have that configured, you're ready to rock and roll. Docker compose up -- build. Augur is, we think, a path to data science. And so in many cases, the challenge that people face is getting good quality data that they can trust. And so from this mountains of data, the Augur team has worked to perform all of the cleaning and structuring that needs to happen, as well as validation, so that instead of an API giving you whatever it does until it passes out, we gather the data, structure it in a relational database, and also then go back and validate that we have the same number as, for example, pull requests as exist on the GitHub site. So that's the validation step.
And think about how Augur relates to other projects and some of the use cases of having a large relational database full of GitHub data or Git-based data. Think about this structure of you give the repo or organizational URLs to Augur, which is that relational database with the GitHub data with enforced relationship structure. And that data acts as a backend to the tooling 8-Knot. So all the visualizations are populated with the data from Augur, and it allows for a way to visualize the plethora of data that is available. Pass back to you, Sean.
The installation prerequisites are installing Docker, Docker Compose, and Docker Desktop. And I'll hand you a slight warning here. When it comes to Docker Compose, depending on your platform, it will be Docker-Compose, or Compose will be a parameter passed to Docker. On Ubuntu, it's Docker-Compose, I think. And so just check your platform for what the specific command is.
Yes, please feel free to message in the Augur 8-Knot working group chat if you run into any of these questions as you start building.
So once we get started here, and you install Docker Desktop, there's a few parameters that you need to set up because the default Docker configuration doesn't give you very much CPU memory or disk space in comparison to what Augur and frankly most programs will need. So it takes a kind of conservative approach so as not to kill your machine, but we do need to make some adjustments to get to reasonable minimums for the Augur stack. And so you click that settings button, which will take you here, and then under resources, you would click, it'll land on general, but then click resources. And then we're at resources, we can set the CPU limit, the memory limit, how much swap space and disk. So Augur can survive on less than the half a terabyte there. So, give it a healthy amount, more than the 8 gigabyte minimum that you start with. In terms of swap, depends on your machine configuration, but I would say, give Augur, if you can, 16 gigs of memory or at least 8. And CPUs, give it 4 to 8, depending on what's available on your machine.
Great. All right. Now we're going to hop over to the demo, which we have recorded here. This will be what you'll see locally as well as you're getting started with Augur. And we'll talk through kind of the next steps for this portion of the presentation where you start to get involved. So what it looks like first, we'll have, you just clone that repo. This is the same steps that we had seen before. So we'll do that git clone Augur. This is the direct link. We'll let that load. From there, we're going to go in and edit those credentials that we were talking about. One thing that is good to note is that you do not have to have GitLab information in there. You can just have it as a placeholder and it will still work with just GitHub. And from there, you just do that Docker compose up -- build and you let it do its thing. So right now we have it recording on an 8x speed because this is not doing anything. This is just Docker doing its thing. And so I can kind of talk through what the other portion of this time will be used for. Please follow these steps. You can look at the documentation and get Augur up and running on your laptop. And then from there, also at any step of this, please message in the Augur 8-Knot working group chat if you have any questions or need any help. And then once you get started and have Augur up and running, pick an issue from the good first issue tags. Again, we can kind of message in the working group chat to make sure we're not getting any collision of two people working on the same one. You can ask kind of any additional questions that you have. We're going to have a few Augur maintainers in chat ready to go to answer your questions and help get you over that initial hump. Now, if we look back on our screen, no additional commands were given. That was just the end of the build, and you can kind of see the logs going through, and this is Augur doing its thing. It's starting to collect, and it's really just that easy. You just need to get those prerequisites set up, make sure that Docker has the resources that it needs, and that you have your environment variables, and then Docker compose up. And yep, we're looking forward to seeing new contributors in Augur, and looking forward to hear from y'all. And yes, we also show up and going. And what you can see here also is the front end. So if you want to be able to see the like permission how to connect to front end, if you have Flower up, you can see collection there. There's a few ways to see that it's collecting beyond just seeing the logs. Again, we can go through any of those questions in chat if you hit them. Thank you very much, everybody.
Our heads were down. I hope it was not boring for us. Okay, so who is now interested to know more about Augur? Okay, I have some encouragement. Okay, so we can project now. I would like to show you what it looks like when you're done setting up, and then okay. All right, so I think we got to, okay, hold on for me. So there is something we call the local instance, right? That's the one that you are going to clone. So this is what it looks like after you have finished setting up your own local instance, like the local development on your local machine. But you might not be able to do much here. So if you notice that Cali mentioned something about 8 knots, that's upon which the Augur is built for the visualization. So I want to show you that one. Hold on. Okay. So all right, so this is for chaos. This is 8 knots, and then the matrix for chaos. We can see pull request activity, the staleness. Then we can also visualize the pull request over time. Then you can see the review status count. I'm going to show you what it means. So issue activity, you can see the staleness. So that actually means that for how long has issues been sitting in your repository that people have not resolved and all. And then we have, many metrics that you can use. We have issue assignment, commits over time, pull request time to first response. So if you want to know what all of that means, it's under the info tab. So we have what contributor means, what contribution means. We have recency, what it means, that's a metric. And then we have consistency, we have staleness, and how it is measured, and so on. And so right now, I will just go forward to say, how many of us have Docker on our local system? You have Docker, and then you have Docker Compose. What operating system are you using? Ubuntu. Okay, good. So just clone. So I wrote down these steps just for us. So this is the repo, the link to the repo, and then to the documentation for anyone that wants to start. One way to get this is to go on our social media. You'll see at Chaos Project. We have these links being posted. So once you go to the link, you fork the Augur repo, and then from there you clone it to your local machine. So who is doing that right now? Good. Is the only the only one doing it? Who else is working on it? Sorry? Oh, you did it earlier. I'm so glad to hear that. So who else? Who else? Toby. Okay, good. So is it running? Is it making sense? Yeah, so let me just warn you ahead. It's going to take a long time to finish building. Sorry? It's big, and then it consumes a lot of resources. In fact, if you check the doc, what's being said is that you should have like up to 100 gig space, disk space for your machine. And let's check the doc together. Like, that's an ideal. I don't have up to that, but then Yes, let's check. What did you say? Have you been able to get your environment set up? Okay. Oh, no. If you are just cloning, it will take a lot of time. Oh, okay. But I don't think it's going to take you it's the building that is going to, yes, exactly. It's when you are then building the instance that it takes a lot of resources. Yeah. How is it going? Okay, let's be patient. Let's be patient. So this is the repository. Okay, I think I wanted to show you where in the docs he was talking about the resources, the ideal resources that you should have. Let's see. Okay. So this is the documentation. We have like an option of full installation where you have to install the Rabbit MQ. You have to install Progress. Yes. We also have like up to like 5 different services. So Docker, using Docker, the containers app. Yes, so using that is like a quick start for you. If you have to, install each of the other services, it's going to take you a longer time. So that's why we are using the containerized option. So I'm looking for the Docker, yes. Quick start. Okay, I'm trying to look for where it said you should have up to certain amount. And I think Sean also made mention of it while he was talking. Yes, this is it. This is it. Can you see it? I have to what? Yes, I know. I'm saying that the resources that it's going to consume on your machine, the ideal resource that you need, not the one that it is going to consume, the one that you need for you to be able to build it easily. So this is it. So in case you don't have up to that, you might be wondering why maybe it's hanging or why it's taking time to load. All right. So is there anyone having issues? Anyone? Okay. So for those of us interested in contributing, if you go on our social media at Chaos Project, you would see the link to the good first issues that are available. So stuff that you can pick up quickly for you to contribute to. So where are we? Please, what's your name? Okay, hi, Hosinache. Where are we? It's loading.
I'm trying to use an EC2 start, and it's because she mentioned about network.
Okay.
So that it will be very, very fast.
Okay.
Spotify is my local star. I don't know about the network.
Okay. Toby, how is it going? Okay, so what we are going to do is, it's something that you can take your time. Like we have been saying, you said? Okay, if you know how to use an online VM, you can do that. But what I want to say is that what we have been saying essentially around since morning is that we would like you to join our community, right? So you can just scan the QR code at the back of your tag, and then join the community. Then look for the working group channel, WG. Let me show you what it is. So, okay, it's open, so I can show you. Okay, so this is the chaos community. We are very warm. Okay, let me see, activities, the chaos, yes. So, trying to look for it. Then our facilitators are actually waiting in the channel to answer all your questions. So, okay. You can see all the channels that we have that you can go into. Sorry, I'm trying to look for the keynotes. Let me write it here so that WG /8 knots. So if you are interested, just look out for this working group. So WG is short for working group, and then Augur. Thank you very much. We'll be looking forward to see you in our community. All right.